Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Amanda, and today we're gonna be talking about art school, baby. Yeah. Ow, it's really hot. It's really hot and I keep forgetting. Today, we're gonna be talking about art school, something new and fun for my channel. I've never talked about art school before.
That's suspicious. That's weird.
We're gonna go through the pros and cons of art school. I specifically go to Massachusetts College of Art. Wow, forgot my own college's name for a second. Massachusetts College of Art and Design, otherwise known as Mass Art. So let's start with the cons, because I like to get the bad stuff out of the way. First con is money. Yeah, I know. I don't know if you guys know this. College costs money.
I said, oh,
Jump scare.
It does. Quite a bit of money, actually. That is one downside of going to art school, of going to pretty much any college where you're not getting a full ride or a ginormous scholarship. I'm very blessed, I'm very privileged to have parents that help me with my tuition, and I know that not all people have that. Going to art school is super expensive. There's not always a guarantee that you are going to make that money back when you graduate. You're not going to make that money back right away. The next con is your time. Your time is super valuable, and art school takes up a lot of it. You might be confused as to why I'm bringing that up, but it's actually something that you don't really consider when you go into art school. I have noticed this particularly because I have a lot of friends who go to medical school or go to school for something in the STEM field. Particularly for them, they have 45-minute classes, maybe like an hour-long class, and then they have labs that are 3 hours long, like max. And particularly for my school, my studio classes are 5 hours long, and my lecture classes are 3 hours long. That is very long. And a lot of these classes expect you to do, 5 hours, 7 hours of work outside of class. So that is 5 hours of your day being taken up by the class, and then another 5 to 7 hours, some other time in the week of when you want to work on your homework for that class. So, you have like 3 of those classes, and each of them expects 7 hours of work outside of that class. Like that adds up. It's not just my school, like other art schools. I did a little bit of research, and they expect not 5 hours. My school, a lot of their studio classes are very long, and they expect, sometimes even more. So because they are shorter than mass art classes are, they expect, 7 to 10 hours outside of your class that you're spending time on an assignment. That's another con, is it takes up a lot of your time. And because of that, leading myself to my third con, it takes up a lot of energy, a lot of mental and emotional and physical draining, because you're constantly working, you're constantly making art, you're constantly moving around and doing things and trying to get this work done. And I'm not gonna lie, it can be very emotionally draining and mentally draining. That doesn't mean that I don't love it. It's not a cakewalk for sure. It's definitely, you know, harder than one may think. I feel like a lot of the time people stereotype art school as kind of like this easy thing. Oh, you're just painting, you know, whatever. You're just going to school and drawing and painting all day. And like, yeah, but it's also super, super emotionally and mentally draining, because a lot of people, their art is connected to their mind and their soul and their emotions and how they feel about certain things going on in their life. And it can be hard to just constantly be putting that on canvas all the time and being expected to do it, you know, in a week. That's a lot, you know, that's a lot of commitment. Going back to the money thing, that leads me to my fourth con is art supplies. Oh my God. Art supplies are super, super expensive. I'll give you an example, and it might horrify you to hear this. I would say like my freshman year of art school, I spent around $300 per semester. So that's $600 on just art supplies alone. You know, a lot of that included canvas, it included, you know, pastels and paints and, you know, palettes, brushes, just a lot of specific stuff that the professors wanted us to have. Like another excuse is that, you know, I heard another YouTuber bring up in one of their videos, you buy like a ton of art supplies, but you aren't buying textbooks, so it makes up for it. Let me tell you something. Most of my friends go to just regular colleges, like not specialty schools, like an art school, and they're not spending $600 on a textbook. So in my opinion, it's like, is it worth it? Another con that I want to mention is, obviously, it is art school. So you are doing almost nothing other than making art all the time. For mass art specifically, I have 3 studio classes, each are 5 hours long, and they all have to do with illustration. And then I have liberal arts classes, but literally every single liberal arts class is related to art in some way. I don't know how it is in other art schools, maybe it's different, but that's how it is in my art school. Everything is like art. And it's great, don't get me wrong. I'm not necessarily complaining about it, but at some point you need another hobby. Art was a hobby for me, and it didn't become like a career type thing until later on in high school. And then when I like made that switch in my brain, it was like, oh, my hobby is now something I'm gonna do as a career, and I don't really have any hobbies left. So I needed to figure out something else that I could do to like take up my time so I wasn't constantly making art. So my advice when it comes to this is join a club. Find some friends who are in an art school if you're in like a college city like Boston. Just connect with people who are outside of like the artist world. And also just like for yourself personally, like find something to do, like maybe like a sport, or I don't know, I do theater at my school. Just really lean into that as much as possible and make it a priority in your life. Last but not least is art blocks. Yeah, so the thing with art blocks is those happen a lot more frequently because you are constantly making art. It can also be hard to have a creative brain all the time, to constantly be inspired by things, to constantly make something that you're really proud of. Before like art school, I had a lot longer art blocks. Like my art blocks would last for like 3 months. Thankfully here, like because you're constantly making art, it's not like most likely, it's not gonna go on for that amount of time. You're making things more, so ideas come to you and like you just have to jump on it and make it because like you have no other choice. So with that being said, let's get to the pros. Let's be a little more positive. The first positive about going to art school is making friends who are also artists, who are also going through the same thing that you're going through. I know personally, like at Mass Art, what has really inspired me is like talking to people who are in different majors than me. I like to talk to people who do things outside of my wheelhouse and get inspiration from them and just get, you know, like ideas from people and connect with people who are going to be in different branches of the art world and maybe that you are going to bump into at some point once you graduate college. And kind of connected to that is the professors. All of the professors at Mass Art are part-time artists, so none of them are full-time teachers. They are all working artists who are, you know, doing the work that we're hopefully going to be doing once we graduate. It is absolutely amazing to be having teachers who are going through it, who you can ask for career advice any time of day. I find it like just really cool and inspirational to hear about what kind of work they do, see their work, and get their input on my work. And it's just, it's mind-blowing and it's great and it's amazing. So this is kind of like the counterpoint to the con before of you're constantly churning out art and that sometimes lead to art blocks. So the good thing about constantly churning out art, constantly making stuff, is you're constantly improving. Like, practice makes perfect, and if you're doing something every day, you're just like bound to get better at it. Even if you go into art school like with skill that isn't that refined yet, you're gonna come out and just have this voice and style and clarity with your work that you may have not had before. Also, piggybacking on like having artist friends and different types of artists making different types of things, the inspiration that you get from people at art school is also out of this world. Seeing other people doing the type of work that you maybe want to be doing one day, or seeing work from people that like you're like, what is that person doing? I feel like a lot of the time when you're in art school, it's like, ugh, like everybody has the same voice, everybody's doing the same thing, everybody, like, we're all gonna come out of the workforce and be like fighting for these jobs. But like when you really look at everybody's work and how different people's style, I hate the word style, but people's styles are, and like the type of work that they do, it gives you hope because you're like, oh, I really do have an independent voice, and I can draw inspiration from things that are really, really different from my work. Okay, next thing, and I want to preface this by saying that I didn't mention this in the cons part for a reason. In art school, your gets shredded apart, like shredded apart. I only see that as a good thing. If you asked me like in freshman year, I probably wouldn't have said the same thing. It is really, really valuable for you to hear what other people's opinions are and kind of be able to take it with a grain of salt either way, like if you want to change the work because of what that person said or if you don't. I believe that there's some aspects of art school and some aspects of critique specifically that are absolutely unhelpful. So you have to like watch out for that fine line of like, okay, is this improving my work and improving my artistic voice and making this easier to understand, or is it watering down my work and making it like kind of blah because other people believe that that's what my work should look like. One other pro of art school is that you are pushed all the time to make art. I said this in the cons as well, but this is kind of like the flip side of that. So yes, you are pushed all the time to make art, and it can be emotionally and physically and mentally draining. But on the flip side, it can also change how you feel about the art that you make. In terms of, before I came to college, like a lot of the time I would only make art when I was upset. But art school kind of forces you to be making art all the time, whether you're happy or sad or angry or whatever. It just, no matter how your life is going, you kind of have to adjust to like, okay, I'm happy and I'm usually making art when I'm upset about something, but I'm not sad about anything, so I have to kind of figure out what making art feels like in that time of my life. I hope this helped you guys. I miss doing sit-down videos like this a lot. I wish that I had more like coherent things to talk about. So if you guys have any questions for me, I think the next like a few videos down I'm gonna do a common artist questions part 2 and kind of talk about the questions that I get as an art school student. So if you guys could leave a comment down below and let me know what you want to hear from me, and I think that's it. I love you guys and I really appreciate you watching this video. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. Comment your questions down below for me to see. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on post notifications so you get a notification every time that I post, because I have a horribly inconsistent posting schedule. Jesus Christ. Okay. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.